Hello and welcome to My Brain's a Dickhead. Sorry for the delay lately. I've been a bit busy. Life's got in the way. A combination of mental health problems and lack of motivation and all sorts of other things. But I'm here, and yeah, as those who've seen any of my videos will know, I do a little bit of an update on my own mental health journey, which is kind of why I started these vlogs. And then I also go on to talk about another topic, mental health related. And this is a little bit about see the signs, save a life, which we'll talk a bit more about this leaflet and that concept in general towards the end of the video, with it being Suicide Prevention Awareness Day earlier this week. I've not done very well there, but you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, what's been happening with me? Well, I mentioned maybe in a previous video that I've got a baby on the way in January, which has been causing all sorts of anxieties, but very excited. This week we found out the gender. Now for me, I was hoping for a little boy. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for a little boy, and it's a little girl. It's going to be a little girl. I mean, it is a little girl, but it's in the womb still. So what was interesting is my mental health. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the scenario of what happened before I actually go into the whole wanting a boy and a girl thing. It was early in the morning. Well, it wasn't really, it was about 9:30, but I'd been working late the night before on an edit, and I got up and I went in and you know, I was with my partner, all was good and everything. You know, I was like going in, right, we're going to find out the gender. And I've got a cup of water in my hand. Oh, cringe. And as I've walked over, the guy who's like the nurse, he's not a nurse, he's a sonographer, puts his hand out in like a handshake motion. So I shake his hand and he goes, no. Takes the cup off me and just drops it in the bin, still with the water in. I mean, I could have finished it off. I was thirsty. That made me more dry-mouthed. I'm pretty dry-mouthed now, actually. One sec. I'm getting flashbacks. Immediately, I'm then like triggered, and I'm just struggling at that point. It's all a bit, I'm not very good at this whole appointment. Oh, let's go and see the, I'm like, I know I need to be better. I'm not like, oh, it's a woman's job. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just not very good at it. So when that happened, before we even got in there, I'm like, oh, and then he was a proper excitable sonographer. So how are we doing then? We all right? We're having, it's just like, all of a sudden, I thought, I'm blagging this. I'm getting away with it. He just stops, turns to me, looks me square in the eyes and goes, you all right? I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't, but obviously I'm like, yeah, but that was kind of a bit of a kick in the ass to kind of go, come on, get your shit together, because your partner's obviously having a cold gel shit thrown all over. Oh, anyway, wasn't handling it very well. Really wasn't handling it very well. In fact, handling it badly. That's the only way to describe it. It got better, and he was asking questions, and then I answered one of the questions right, and then he gave me a high five. Oh, I was in the team then. I was part of the team. Yeah, I'm here. And yeah, then I was hit with this kind of notion of, oh, it's a little girl. And I don't want to use the word disappointment because everyone's going to judge me, but do you know what? I was disappointed, and that's okay, providing you then follow it with the next couple of days of them being like, oh, do you know what? I'm buzzing about it. But as long as that it's only an initial thing, because I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's not for me to say what's right or wrong, but I don't feel bad about it because it was kind of a bit of an instinct, and you can't do much about your instincts. And I afterwards was then like, I'm buzzing about it, absolutely buzzing about it, and all the things that I got excited about with the boy, I've now kind of come around to. And you know what? I put a thing in the group chat with my lad mates and was like, oh, am I weird? And a few of the lads were like, no, I actually thought the same way, but the reverse. So, you know, it is what it is, you know, and sometimes you can't berate yourself too much. You've just got to kind of go, these are my emotions. And as I say, from the way I handled the situation, like, it's fine. I wasn't mentally prepared for things to go wrong. Taking water into the room full of electronics. I mean, for someone who works with electronic stuff, I should have been aware of that. But hey ho, you win some, you lose some. And, you know, luckily my partner's very understanding and isn't like, oh, you're a mess, what were you doing? She's actually really understanding, and I was like, oh, I really struggled with that, and she was like, I know. So yeah, anyway, that's me. I started CBT recently. Do you know what? I think I'll speak about that next week because I'm not doing a second session for a while, and I've waffled on a little bit about what I've been up to, but it's been up and down, but I'm keeping it together. The thought of having a baby is just both overwhelming and so exciting, so amazing. It's amazing, and I'm excited, and way more excited than I thought I'd be for someone who didn't even want kids. Anyway, moving on. See the sign, save a life, right? Okay, now this little leaflet I stumbled across in my little mind group, and basically I'll show you more as I'm waffling on now. I'll cut to some images of the inside of this. I think this is a very important thing to think about, okay? If you are someone who's looking to help someone with mental health issues, which to be fair, if you've gone through all of my waffle for the last goodness knows how long, well done for sticking around. This is a very important topic, really important topic, because everyone's told, oh,
you speak out. If you're feeling like this, you need to speak out, you need to speak out.
It's hard to speak out. someone with mental health issues, it's hard to speak out. And sometimes it's, you know, if someone comes and asks you a question, you feel much better about it. And you know what? I'm going to go straight to the kind of the end of this. It says, don't be afraid to ask directly about suicide. It will not make their feelings worse or give them ideas. In fact, the opposite is true. For many people, it can be a huge relief to be asked the question in a direct way. Now, you know what? That's not everyone. And, you know, there might be someone there going, oh, if someone asked me about suicide, I'd feel like this, blah, 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 blah. And it isn't for everyone, but it's better to ask than to not ask. You know, like I've explained this before in previous videos. You know, I never got to the point where I was contemplating suicide, but I wanted to be dead, and it wasn't nice. And you know what? It was from a conversation with someone that I came to that conclusion when they asked me, you know, are you thinking about suicide? It was only then could I answer no. But I didn't know that. I didn't know whether I was thinking about suicide. I thought I might have been at one point. And when someone asked me that, I was like, no, I'm not actually. And then I was able to then say, I just want to be dead, which again, is not great. But actually from there, someone can say why? And then you can answer, and there's a dialogue and an opening of conversation. Now, I'm not saying it's going to save everybody's life, you know, but let's have a look at some of the things here that say see the signs. Now, see the signs, some of it, I don't like using the word wanky or something like this because it's really important. But yeah, some of these things are not necessarily written by someone who's wanted to commit suicide, but it's people who've worked with people and they understand that. And some of the rhetoric isn't quite perfect, but the intention's there. And you've got to take each individual case for what it is. You know these people. If they're your friends or your family, you know them. Don't judge them. Don't hate on them. Approach them with caution. Approach them as a friend first. You know, don't just steam in and go, right, let's talk about suicide. You know, you've got to ease into these things because people reject that. You know, it's a tricky and difficult conversation to have with a loved one, but it's something that needs to be had. Yeah, so let's just go through a few of these things. So see the signs. So some of these, talking or complaining of feeling hopeless and that life is not worth living. I'll be honest, I've said that before. Talking about feeling trapped, such as saying they can't see a way out of a current situation. Now, a lot of these things are also the sorts of things that people with depression say, you know, so it's not about then steaming in and going, are you going to kill yourself? You can gauge it, you know, like, and please don't think I'm trying to make a joke of any of this because I'm not. I mean, I'm someone who's suffered from a lot of these things. And as I say, I'm not saying that gives me the right to take the mick a little bit, but, you know, you've got to see the humor in some of these situations. I'm not saying any suicide is funny. It's not. But in hindsight, I look back on some of the things I said. Yeah, it's not a laughing matter actually, but I don't know why I'm laughing, crying now. But it's shit. It sucks. But you know what? We've got to try and approach these things with an open mind to any emotion. Look, laughing, crying, these are emotions. Like you can't help how you feel. You feel what you feel. This is an important concept to grasp. People laugh at funerals, and you know what? Don't sneer at them. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but emotions are very complicated. And you know, you look at hormones and it's a chemical balance or an imbalance and endorphins and all these other things that fly around, cortisol and things like that affect our emotions, the diet you have. All of these things are key. I've digressed massively. Let's go back to seeing the signs. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, emotions are real. Let people feel them and encourage people to express their feelings and express how they feel. And I think there'd be less people committing suicide. You know, I think that's kind of the point. So when people are talking about these things, talk to them. When they're talking about saying that their friends and family would be better off without them, talking or writing about death, dying or suicide, you know, I actually think talking and writing about things are quite healthy. That means it's getting it out, you know, but I mean, it is a sign, I guess. A sudden lift in mood after a period of severe depression. Again, these things happen to not just people with suicidal thoughts, but do you know what all of these symptoms and all of these things are? You know, looking into methods or means to end their own life. They are signs that people need other people around them. There's no two questions about it. No two ways about it. You know, these are things to worry about. Putting all their affairs in order, such as sorting out possessions or making a will, saying that they can hear voices telling them to end their own life. I mean, they're very, you know, different things on the spectrum. You know, like all of these things, it's not like, oh, well, it's a tick box if they're doing all of these things. If anyone's doing any one of these things, you know, they need people to talk to them, be a friend. If you're someone who suffers with these things, I'm not going to scream here to talk to people, but of course, as you know, as most of us know, talking helps. For me, I tell you why talking helps the most for me. It's not necessarily the advice I get from other people, although that is incredibly helpful. What helps me about talking is being able to find a solution myself. I find a solution when I'm talking, I'm saying it and I can see myself going, hang on a minute, I should have done that instead. And that is priceless. And that's why talking helps. Let's have another couple of looks at this leaflet though. So it says act early. If you notice any of these warning signs in a friend, relative or loved one, encourage them to talk about how they are feeling. Getting professional help early can reduce the risk of harm, but talking to friends and family can also be very helpful. If there is an immediate danger, make sure they are not left on their own. I mean, it's common sense, but common sense doesn't always prevail. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know someone who's committed suicide, and if you don't, you're a very lucky person. It's not necessarily a close friend, but it is often a friend of a friend or a brother or a relative of a friend, and we all think to ourselves, we could have done more. And you know what? The truth is we could. No one's to blame at all, because you know what? We've all got our own shit. We have all got our own shit. But the point I'm trying to make is if we can all make a conscious effort to be there for each other a little bit more. You know, when someone's opening up to you, clock it. Don't be always waiting to speak. Listen. I'm massively guilty of that. Listening, I'm a very good listener when I remember to listen. And that's, you know, as I was saying that sentence there, I'm a very good listener. I know there's a lot of my friends and family going, but then sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget to listen. And it's important that we both open up and talk and remember to listen. If we don't, there's going to be more and more suicides. I'm not going to start getting political, but we're in a very difficult climate at the moment, and it's only going to exacerbate people's mental health. So, people, think about white bits at the corner of my mouth. I'm sorry if that's happened. Remember, see the signs, help a person. See the signs, save a life. See the signs, save a life. Look for the f***ing signs. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. I'll have bleeped that out. Look for the signs. Look for the signs. Because they are there. And you know what? If someone's just disappeared for a bit, you might think, oh, they just need some space. They might, but check in on them. Check in on them. It's so important you check in on people. Anyway, this is a long video, and I know I say it every time, oh, it's a long video. Hopefully it's been engaging. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Marcus J. Richardson. This has been My Brain's a Dickhead. Look for those signs, people. And remember, if you need it, get help. If you're just a bit curious, open up. Stick a couple of comments under this video. There'll be people who respond. I have a little group on Facebook. If you want me to add you to that, it is a closed group because we're all sharing our opinions, but you know, it's not necessarily an open field, because not a lot of people want an open field. So if you do want a group to just go, you know what, I'm feeling shit, guys. Anyone felt like this before? This is happening to me. You know, like a friend, Alex, who's been really interactive in there. The other day he put in there, he's like, right, what's everyone's favorite food? I want to, you know, cheer me up. And we all chipped in with chips. To be fair, chips. I'm hungry. I want lunch. But yeah, you know, if you want to get involved with anything like that, please do comment on the video and I will add you to the group. It's been very therapeutic to just see a meme every now and again from people. Anyway, I'm still waffling. I've been Marcus J. Richardson, and sorry it's been a while. I'll try and get back onto these. I'm using my GoPro now, which is going to make life a little bit easier because the picture quality is better than my computer and it's not as big a setup as my camera, and I'm waffling again. I can't get off. This is another problem of mine, actually, and if you're still here, well done. Some of you may have this issue. I don't know when to stop talking.